Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour. My name is Martin Coward. I am a spiritual teacher and a prosperity and mindset coach working largely with gay, transgender, and bisexual men, specifically entrepreneurs and business owners. And we've been gathering in this virtual sanctuary for over a year now as a place to love and support each other through the pandemic, through the crisis of 2020. And I'm so glad we did. And we've created a wonderful community of people who've come to rely on the power of contemplative prayer as a way to let go of the drama and the problems we're facing to find solution. To find that we all have the power within ourselves to create an abundant and a prosperous life. And it seems to me like, and what's feeling like to me, is that we're in a much better place today in the world. We're in a much better world today than we were a year before the pandemic. I mean, we're all different. Everyone is different. And we're not going back to an old way. We're moving into the new norm. And the new norm is one where we actually do care for each other. It's what I call the age of the feminine, the age of Aquarius, where it's the divine feminine is running the world, that energy of care and nurturing and growth and truth. And the reason why I call my company Heart Space is because the heart space, when we include the heart space in our mindset, in our thinking, in our problem solving, everything changes, because the heart space knows the truth. It's the space of, it's what connects us to all of creation. It's what connects us to the divine intelligence, infinite intelligence, the creative spirit. It's who we are. And what I want to talk about today, because I am a mindset coach. I'm a prosperity mindset coach. And I want to talk a little bit about my story. And I want to tell you the reason why it's so important that we cultivate a prosperity mindset. And then we're going to have a few minutes of meditation, and we're going to actually go into contemplative prayer to plug into that power, to that infinite source of power within ourselves. So that's part of the process. It is part of the process of cultivating a prosperity mindset is through contemplative prayer and meditation. And there's my dear friend, Mindy. Hey, Mindy, how are you doing today? I'm back here today solo, and it's fun to be here. I'm talking about the value of cultivating a prosperity mindset, and I'm going to share my story of how I came to the truth that it's all about mindset. Everything is about mindset, and how I named my company Financial Heart Space is because when we begin to include the heart space, the truth of the heart, then everything changes. Our view of the world changes because we know that abundance is something we have within ourselves. There's nothing we can go out and produce. So our view of ourselves, our view of the creator, and our view of the world changes to a view of prosperity and abundance, because that becomes the world we live in, and that becomes the world that we participate in. So let me go back and share with you a little bit. Grooving along? Yeah, I'm grooving along too. It's Monday. And I love Mondays. I guess it's hard to get jumped right up because I worked all weekend, so it doesn't feel all that different. I was just telling someone today earlier that I need to take, if I don't take Monday off, I need to take a little more time off on if I don't take Sunday off, I need to take a little more time off on Monday, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to work today till about 5 o'clock, and then I'm going to take the rest of the evening off. I'll work till about 10 o'clock at night most of the time because I love what I do, and I'm always creating content that I think is going to be valuable. So today I'm going to, though I did all that this weekend, today I'm going to actually work hard, have a good time today, do what I enjoy doing. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to just enjoy hanging out with a friend. So that's my plan for today. And that's coming from prosperity. That's coming from abundance. You know, when I was living in the old world where I was always in fear of not having enough, fear that if I didn't make enough money, I was driven by fear. I was obsessed with money at one time in my life. I mean, I grew up with so much obsession with money, and so much money terrorized me, really. But I had this deep belief in me that I learned as a little boy that if I didn't make a lot of money, and if I wasn't, people who weren't rich, people who weren't successful, they weren't important, they weren't lovable, they weren't, those were people who weren't respected. And that, I don't think that was a message my parents intended to give me, but I think that's what message they got from their parents. I mean, my great grandfather literally was one of the wealthiest men in South Georgia, shot and killed his brother in an argument over money when they were young men. And shot and killed his brother. That's got to change the dynamic of the family right there. I mean, you know, when you kill your brother over money, even if it was self-defense, supposedly, I guess it was self-defense because it never went to trial because somebody said he watched it and it was, you know, it was self-defense, I guess. But no matter whether it's self-defense or not, the fact that you have two brothers who got in such an argument, the one killed the other one over money, tells you it's going to create some bad karma going down the line. And it certainly did, because my grandfather, who went to college in a Stutz Bearcat, which was like the creme of college cars for young men going to college in the day, went to law school, Georgia. He ended up broke. He never made any money. And he never felt good about himself when it came to money. And as a matter of fact, he committed suicide, broke before he turned 70. And he lived a pretty miserable life, and he never really made much for himself. He never lived a sense of, I mean, he was a wonderful, wonderful guy. He was a great grandfather, loved to take me fishing and doing all kinds of great things, but his own sense of self-worth was pretty low, I think. And he relied on external circumstances. And one of them was my grandmother who had money, you know, so I got, you know, and then my parents who argued all the time about money. I mean, they argued about money all the time. And it was just, so money was something that was not a source of joy for me. It was something you had to have. It was a weapon of reward and punishment. So really, like my spiritual teacher told me one time, Martin, you don't just have a fear of money. Money terrorized you. And it's true. It terrorized me. Why would I want anything that would bring that much pain into my life? And yet I felt like I had to have it in order to grow my business and be loved. So I was caught in this real big lie, basically. And it's the lie of the scarcity mindset. And the scarcity mindset basically just simply says this, that there's just not enough resources in the world. There are only a finite number of resources, including money, to go around. And we better do everything we can to earn our fair share, to prove our worth and to prove our value in order to get what we need to get our needs met. And it puts us into a competitive race, which the world has been in the last 2,000 years, where we're always competing with one another for some slice of some pie of money. There's no pie of money. Money is an infinite resource of creativity. And that's what's so exciting about all these plans that the Biden administration is putting out there right now, because all of these plans are wealth creators. It's not about taking our tax paying dollars and putting them back into the fabric of our economy so we can create more wealth. That's what they're all about. It's not about, they're not spending them just for the sake of spending money so people can live without doing anything. The whole point of every single one of these measures is to create jobs and opportunities for people to create more wealth for themselves and for our country. They're all good. There is no finite amount of money that can be created in this country. It is an infinite resource. And when we begin to see money as an infinite resource for creativity, everything changes. Money becomes an expression of love and creativity. Exactly. You know, Tony Robbins does, Ray Dalio. I just saw come across my screen the morning. I can't wait to read an article. He's talking about the things that he's talking about these laws and things that Biden and his administration are trying to get through. Like Ray Dalio and Tony Robbins are both big financial influencers on the world today. So we're not just hearing this from people like Eckhart Tolle and other spiritual teachers. We're hearing this from major financial influencers on the world stage who are helping us move this movement from what I call poverty thinking to prosperity living. It's all in the mindset. So Tony Robbins is talking about so we start with ourselves. We have to go through. So from my experience, when I was in my dark night of the soul, curled up on the sofa, about to go bankrupt, my spiritual teacher had me go through a practice of surrender, which is what she said, Martin, you could go bankrupt. I mean, that would solve your problem. That wouldn't solve the problem, but it would feel better. It would relieve some of the pain, maybe. But I thought, no, that's not really what I want to do. I don't need another external solution. This is an internal conflict. This is a mindset problem. This is the way I think and view the world that needs to change. I need to change the way I think about myself. I need to think about the way I experience the Creator, God, and I need to experience the way I see the world. I need to go from seeing it from a place of fear and doubt and scarcity, and a world that and a creator that's judging me, that's telling me if you don't make money. I mean, all that stuff. When you get back and you step back, all sounds ridiculous, really. Once you realize that it's all a story, a big lie, and that the world is in the world, and you think the world is just scarce and not enough. But when you have this experience, when you actually feel it in your body, and that's what we teach in our programs, is once you've experienced this prosperity, once you experience that abundance is within yourself, everything changes. Our image of ourselves, our image of our Creator, God, or higher power, however you like to call that. I'm not here teaching you. I'm teaching here a spiritual practice, and so it's a spiritual truth when we have that transformational experience. And the reason why this is so important is because the world is in a major transformative place right now. We are changing at record speed. When you think about history and how the world, and we're going to look back at a year from now. We're going to look back a year from now, back on today, and wonder how were we so mean to one another? And we were mean to each other because we were afraid we weren't going to get our meat. We weren't going to get enough of ourselves. And we got greedy and we got selfish. It's just part of the human condition. It's the way the ego protects itself. But more of us, we don't need to do that. We got enough. We don't need to prove anything. And I think as more and more people move that over, and we have influencers like Tony Robbins and Ray Dalio and myself and others who are on this path of shifting the way we think about money, we're going to move into a future of a new earth where we're actually going to have economic systems and social structures that are actually going to benefit everyone. And that's exciting, because that's what all these new laws and all these they're all to create social structures and economic systems that benefit everyone, that everyone can have a job, that everyone can participate in creating this new earth, this new America, a new normal based on prosperity, a new normal based on abundance, a new normal based on love and caring. What a different world we can live in. We are already living in it. And that is so exciting to me, to be part of that, to be part of that movement, and to be a leader in that movement. And invite others to be leaders in that movement. It don't have to be, I don't have to be Tony Robbins. I can just be Martin Coward, and you can be Mindy, just leading it in your personal lives. Yeah, that's what a movement is. And you've got thought leaders, and you've got leaders in the world like Tony and Ray and myself and you doing our share, because some people, not everybody gets to hear Tony Robbins, and people come in and listen to me. And my story is what makes me unique, and my story might relate to you just like your story relates to others. So it's really all about all of us taking some ownership in the fact that, number one, we were part of of society. We were part of our culture that created these old economic systems. And structures that were so painful. I mean, I helped create, because that's what I believe was right. And once I realized that it's all a big lie, that there's no such thing as scarcity. God did not make the creative energy of a year. It creates out of abundance. We were created out of abundance. We were created out of infinite love. And that's how we create wealth in the world. That's how wealth is really created. And these new economic structures and tax systems are designed to redistribute that in a way so that everybody can benefit from it. It's not about how can I hoard the most for myself and my family so I can live in just opulent lifestyle. I mean, I'm all good. I'm all fine with everybody becoming billionaires. I used to do a project called Joyful. Everybody can be a billionaire. Everybody can certainly be a millionaire if they want to, if that's what they desire. There's no reason. You can make anything is possible when you come from heart space, when you come from prosperity, when you come from abundance. You can create anything. And it's seen over and over and over again. As you know, my favorite story is the one of Oprah Winfrey, who she and I are the same age and she grew up in rural Mississippi. I grew up in Southwest Georgia. And quite frankly, I had coming from a white privileged family, I had every chance in the world of becoming somewhat successful. And, I grew up in a fairly successful, a bunch of my parents argued about, we actually lived a pretty good life. I went to college and I was pretty privileged. But it was never enough, it was like it was never enough to the people across the street who had the bigger house and the bigger car. We were always comparing ourselves to the richer people in town who were living better than we were. We were always comparing ourselves to someone like, and then you see Oprah Winfrey, who came out of that and she tapped into that creative genius in herself. And she has built an empire in service to the world. And I can tell you right now, every dollar, she lost every single dollar in the stock market for whatever happened, she created all over again, because she didn't create it. She created wealth. She created wealth for the betterment of our world. And that's how wealth is created. That's why I use her as an example, because she is a wonderful example of someone who has created wealth for herself and for the world out of abundance and prosperity. And it's just exciting. And everyone can be an Oprah Winfrey. All of us can be an Oprah Winfrey. And we all have that same spark of life and love and joy and creativity. Everyone has that inside themselves. We just have to take down the shadows. We have to take down the barriers, the false beliefs that are standing in our way of the truth. And that's why contemplative prayer is such a powerful tool for us to step into that abundance, prosperity mindset, so we can live that way. We can live in that truth. And remember, what we're going to meditate here in just a second is what the prayer we use is something called centering prayer. And that is a way to get still, to just slow down. We've been doing it every day I do it every day for the last, I don't know how many years, but I've been helping teach it to you for about a year now. If we just get still, we set an intention to stop all our doing and be still. Because we know if we can be still, the doing is the stillness, we can have everything we want in the world. We can have a prosperity mindset. We can have the things that come with a prosperity mindset. We can have wealth in our banking account. We can have homes. And think about what second homes are and third homes are. There are opportunities for people to build them. It's all part of the creative process. And the invitation is for all of us to participate in that prosperity, abundance mindset, to grow and connect with the world and make a difference. So we get stopped, we be still, and let go, surrender all these negative beliefs, all this egoic thinking of not enough or worrying, or all the things that the ego and the shadow are constantly barking at us. It's their job, by the way. It's not like they're doing it to hurt, but they're just trying to protect us. It's trying to protect us in certain ways. It's always doing this. So it uses fear. So the idea here is, okay, I know you're trying to protect me. I can be grateful for your role in my life as my shadow of things. But for right now, I want you just to let go. I want you to let go of the reins and let the heart run the show for a while. I want you to let the heart, I want you to be you, Mr. Ego, you, Mr. Martin, you, this magnificent human, to let the being in you, the divine presence in you, drive the butt. Exactly. It's very helpful to surround yourself with others who have the same mindset, because if you're with people who live in scarcity, then that's what you think the world is. I did forever. I even worked in an environment, big Fortune 500 firm, Fortune 100 firm, really. We lived in this environment of, I think it was toxic, of being sort of like money was power. Money itself had power. Money has no power. Money has look at what's happening in our on our political landscape. It's fun to watch the news. It's exciting to watch the news these days as we see those old power structures coming down right and left, and what used to work by just having money and having more money than anybody else and being able to buy your way to the top is no longer working, because people want people in positions of power of their government and of their corporations who are there to care for them and create abundance for everyone, not just for themselves. And that's what's coming to a close, and it's exciting. And there's still people hanging on. I mean, there's still, politicians and corporate leaders who are still hanging on to their old sense of power from around money. But that's ending. That's ending. That's coming to an end. And I think a year from now it's going to even be more. It's going to look even stranger, because nobody wants that. Nobody wins. They don't win. There is so much fear of trying to hold on to something they don't, to an illusion of power. Yes, but when you're in a position of power, you can be dangerous. And don't get me wrong, there've been some in the last 4 years. People have been in positions of power and done some pretty dangerous things and some pretty harmful. Many people died. You know, and people in positions of power when it comes to police forcing, they've exploited that power. In racism, that's coming to an end, and it's exciting. It's very exciting. So the best way to do it is to, one, have a conversation about prosperity. Have a conversation between the two parts of ourselves that are in conflict. It's really an internal conflict that's at war. The heart is never at war. The heart's just loving. It's just giving and receiving love. But the ego, the shadow, is always trying to start a fight. It's always trying to be right. And the main thing it's trying to be right about is always trying to protect is its big lie of scarcity. It is always trying to, it has a big lie that says you're not enough. I'm not enough. I don't deserve to have a good life. I don't deserve to have money. It's only for other people because other people deserve it more than, I mean, all kinds of weird negativity that is barking at us all the time based on some version of not enough, some version of the scarcity mindset. And so, yeah, that's what conflict is. That look either or, And so when we begin to look at things as both and, yeah, both, sometimes there may be in certain parts of the country, there may be a scarcity of food and water. That might be a true fact, but that doesn't mean there's a scarcity of food and water in that particular region. But there's another part of the world that's got an abundance of food. So what we do is when we acknowledge the fact that there's a place where people are not getting enough food to eat to take care of themselves, we help them. We get food and water to them, and we show them how to create more food and water. That's the new economy. That is the new economy. That is the new cultures. We help our neighbors around the world to cultivate a prosperity mindset. And there's a lot of we can learn from various cultures around the country who don't have any money at all, who live in the jungles and live in complete happiness and joy because they're so connected to the earth and themselves. And that's what it's about. And so what you said is by living in a community of prosperity and abundance, there's a sense of joy and happiness that's there because that's what they know. That's all they know. And so we're trying to cultivate that in our country and in our culture, in our world, so that particularly around entrepreneurs, so that we can begin to grow and build our business. Because all the coaches that I know and consultants that I know in business, they're all entrepreneurs because they want to make the world better. And we all need more resources. We all need more money to make a bigger impact. I mean, that's kind of the model that Oprah showed us. She became one of the wealthiest women in the planet because she has been showing people how to live in abundance, and she's an illustration of that. And I think that's pretty exciting. But she didn't do it. She's not hoarding it for herself. She's out there every day doing projects in Africa and having shows and having people on to talk about this stuff. Like you said, to have that prosperity mindset is just something that's quite lovely. So today it's about time for the meditation. Today I want to go on an old familiar prayer. It's called the Serenity Prayer. It's used in 12, but it can be used for anything. Because when 12-step recovery, it's all about that. Maybe it's about alcohol and drugs, but it could be any problem that anything is God. Give me the I can't think of the word. Give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the acceptance and the wisdom to know the things I cannot. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, which is my mindset. Do I have the courage to change my mindset? And the wisdom to understand the difference. That's a powerful, powerful prayer. It's serenity, courage, and acceptance. And then we can show up in the world more fully. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be on here. I love having my guests, but today it was kind of fun. I'm working on a lineup of guests for the month of May. I'd love to have you come back as caregivers and coaches and caregivers. And I thought I'd put those two. I was going to just do care. I thought, you know what, coaches have helped a lot of people through the pandemics. Us coaches are caregivers too. And I wanted to highlight that in the month of May. Coaches and caregivers is going to be the theme for May. And I'm working now on rounding up people who've been, and I know you care for your mother. And I know you were part of the team that cared for people after 9/11. So Mindy, this is an offer here live that if you want to come on, I know you've been on here before, but I'd love to have you come on and talk about being a caregiver during the pandemic and the role and what you've learned from that, as well as others. So that's going to be my theme for this month, is going to be coaches and caregivers during the pandemic. So let's get started. I'm also using my brand new little toy here. It's called a Blue Yeti microphone. So when we hear the bell, it's time to start our meditation. And today the invitation is and the way we meditate is called centering prayer. And we use our breath to bring our focus inside, around the heart center. And one of the things we do in meditation and prayer is people think you got to stop thinking. You cannot stop thinking, and you don't want to stop thinking, but you can slow it down to create more space between your thoughts, because that's where creative action happens. We're not obsessing with a thought. We're actually letting it go so we can create a new thought and a new thought, perhaps, or some space for something brand new, unknown to come up. That's something good. So even sometimes in the meditation, some creative new idea will come up, and we'll think, that's great. Let's follow that, and we'll go down a little rabbit hole. So it's just to consistently let them go. So one of the things we can do to slow down the mind is we can reverse engineer, because when we think, our tongues vibrate. And one way to slow down the mind, the thinking, is to slow down the tongue. So we kind of reverse engineer it. And the way I like to teach you to do it is to take the tip of your tongue and rest the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth. Part your lips slightly and relax your jaw, and just allow your breath to come in your mouth and through your nose, and gently massage your tongue as it goes down your throat, open up your heart, and deep into your belly as an anchor. So let's just do that for a moment. Let's just stop and slow down. We're just gonna breathe. We're just gonna sit and breathe and massage our tongue as gently and as relaxed as we possibly can. Just thinking, let go, let go, let go. And to go more deeply into the meditation, we're going to do 3 belly breaths. And the belly breaths are this. We want to bring the breath deep into our belly using our belly muscles. You'll notice we're just sitting here naturally breathing the rise and the fall, that the belly is actually doing the work. The belly muscles are subtly kind of bringing the breath in and the breath out to help the lungs and the heart. So with the belly muscles, the first round is going to go like you're going to pull the breath in through the nose and the mouth, down the throat, massage the tongue, open the heart, and pull the breath deep into your belly as an anchor, and hold it for just a moment and let it go. You ready? Bring it in, massaging the tongue, opening up the heart. And now with your belly, we'll pull the breath into the belly and just anchor it and hold it. And now let everything go. And as you let everything go, as you let the breath go, let your thoughts go. Let your beliefs go. Let your opinions, your judgments, your stories, your word, let everything go. Consciously let it go with the breath. And just fall into spaciousness. Fall into the spaces between the thoughts. And just breathe. Gently massaging the tongue. Feeling the breath deep in the belly. Nice gentle flow from the mouth and the nose down the throat into the heart, into the belly and back out as it opens up all those chakras, all those energy spaces in the heart, in the body. Bringing up that energy and the breath from our butt in the chair to infinite, infinite, infinite energy above, coming into the top of our head. So just imagine as you breathe and you're connecting Mother Earth, grounding yourself in Mother Earth to open up the energy of Father Sky. And use the heart as the central point of that connection. And now let's let that be the focus of our next breath. With the belly muscles, pull the breath deep into the belly, through the mouth, through the nose, massage the tongue, and feel yourself deep within. Hold it, and just let everything go. And when you let everything go, let every opinion, every belief about what you think is good and bad, right or wrong, evil, all those judgments about things and other people, just let them go for a moment. And find yourself in that wonderful place of no thinking. And allow the bell you just heard to bring you more deeply within yourself. And we're going to do one more round of deep belly breath to anchor us more solidly in our space, to bring the spirit more solidly into our body and anchor it within the belly. And then I'm going to be quiet for the duration of the meditation and prayer, with the exception of the interval bells that will wake us up to let go of our thinking, to reset and fall back into infinite love. Are you ready for the last one? Let's go. Breathing in. Really taking a nice deep breath and pull it down into your belly. Expand the belly. Expand it a little bit more. Hold it just a second. It gets maybe a little uncomfortable because as you hold on to everything, they're uncomfortable. Now let everything go. Just let it go. Must be having company coming because my nose is surely itchy. Let go of the itch in my nose. And be still and know that I am. I am. I am not me. Oh, and there's the sweet sound of that wake up bell to wake us up from our thinking, our sleeping, our planning, our worries. It's very simple. Just smile at that brilliant brain of yours for thinking and let it go. And allow yourself to fall gently back into the loving arms of the Divine Mother. Infinite love, our true nature. There's the sweet sound of that wake up bell to wake us up one more time before we close out the meditation, to let go of any thinking, any planning, any stories, any beliefs, maybe our sleeping, to reset, let anything go, and allow yourself to gently fall back into your essence, into that infinite, loving, creative energy that is our life. There's our final bell to bring us back. How was the journey? How are you feeling? So, how do we cultivate a prosperity mindset? Through the art of letting go, by surrendering the old scarcity mindset to a higher power we'll call God or the creative universe, the home of the heart. We cultivate a prosperity mindset by opening the heart and listening for the truth that we are abundant. We come from abundance. And when we come from abundance, we can create from abundance. And we can serve humanity, which include our clients, our family, our friends, from that place of abundance, and create more prosperity and more wealth for everyone to enjoy. Everyone to enjoy. And that's why. And the way we do that is through meditation, contemplative prayer and meditation. We rinse and repeat. I'm not going to show you a better formula tomorrow because there is not one. This is the way. This is the only way that I know how. This is the way I did it. This is the way my spiritual coach taught me to do it. And this is the way I'm teaching you how to do it. I'm feeling grounded too. I'm feeling purposeful with this conversation today. It feels like I'm living my mission, which is to create a world of abundance and prosperity with showing up in love and gratitude. I'm here with love and gratitude, and I'm sharing, and I'm just sharing my story to create more prosperity in the world and more abundance in the world, sharing my story of truth. And that feels grounded for me. And I'm glad it feels grounded for you, because that's what we do. We love and support each other in this new economy, in this new earth, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. And we can do this. We're doing it. We are transforming the way the world operates. We're no longer going to be operating out of poverty thinking. We're going to be living in prosperity, because we are living in prosperity. We just stop and we can be grateful for all that we have, knowing we have everything we need, and we can share it with others. We can share it with people who don't have what we have. We can share our vaccines. We can share water. We can share our food. No one on the planet should go to bed hungry, because there's plenty of food and plenty of resources for everyone. No one should go to bed thinking they're unworthy of love, because there's plenty of love. No one should go to bed worried that they don't have a sense of purpose and meaning, because they wouldn't be alive if they didn't have a reason for being here. And the only reason we're here is to give and receive love and see what happens. Just show up with love and gratitude and see what happens. You'll be amazed. It's not about doing. It's about being. It's about being prosperous, being abundant, being loving, being generous. It's a wonderful way to live and be. So thank you so much today for joining me. I hope you got something for this. If you're listening to the replay, please add your comments. I'd be happy to comment later to answer your questions. You can always send me a direct message on Facebook with Facebook Instant Messenger. And I want to make you a couple where I am a spiritual teacher and a prosperity and mindset coach, working largely with gay, transgender, and bisexual men to cultivate an abundance mindset, to cultivate a prosperity mindset, to get a real picture of their purpose and why you're here on this planet. And finally, to help you and show you how to enjoy making money doing what you love. That's the formula for a good life. That's the formula for living a life of love, joy, and prosperity. And that's what I'm living here for. And I've created a Facebook group called Financial Heart Space for gay, transgender, and bisexual men. It's a community of entrepreneurs, business leaders who are coming together to love and support each other in this whole idea of a new culture, a new way of being in the world. And in there, I offer all kind of free teaching and courses. This is simulcast in there as well. So if that's you, I'm going to invite you to join that group, engage with us. I do a live workshop every Wednesday in there to help create this transformation in your life. Please join us. Financial Heart Space for gay, transgender, and bisexual men. Additionally, I have another Facebook group called the Financial Mystics Sanctuary, which is for everyone to join, where I provide much and almost everything there I provide inside. It's just that some of the things that we do inside the men's group is just tailored for men and conflicts that men have with themselves. But the Financial Mystic Sanctuary is for all people. And I'm going to be doing a live workshop in there on Saturday the 15th on how to use my new workbook, Solve Money Problems. It's using centering prayer. It's using contemplative prayer as a spiritual principle to solve financial problems and all kind of problems. But specifically, we're going to talk about how to solve financial problems. So mark your calendars for noon on May 15th. I'm going to be doing a live interactive Zoom workshop where you can bring your problem, you can bring the workbook. We're going to help you solve your problem and show you how to use the workbook to solve the problem. And that's going to come up, and that's for everybody. That's going to be in the financials. That's going to be in the Financial Mystic Sanctuary. So join that group and show up for that event. That's going to be pretty exciting for you too. Okay. So thank you, Mindy, for being here. And anybody else who's joining us, again, if you're watching the replay, please type in any comments and questions, and I'll be happy to reply later. More people seem to watch the replay than watch the live event, which is good. I just want to get the message out there because I love you and care for you. So thank you for joining me today. And yes, it is exciting. We're living in a very exciting time, Mindy. This is a very, very exciting time we live in. And so thank you for joining me today, because I love your support being here with me. It's very supportive and very helpful to feel appreciated. So thank you. And in the meantime, may love and prosperity prevail. I'll see you tomorrow.